Hello everyone, and welcome to week 6 video for the online course development program. It's hard to believe we're already on week 6, but it's true, and the summer is moving on, so shall we. So as you've probably become accustomed to these videos, I'm going to give you a bit of overview of where we are and where we're going and some exciting things that are coming up. So just finishing up last week was week 5, and that was laying out the course units within your online modules with your work book that you're working with. And this week we're starting up writing the course modules. And from speaking with Alyssa, she had a very interesting conversation in, I believe it was her Wednesday group, the difference between weekly folders and learning modules. So I just wanted to touch on that topic for a moment and show you if you haven't tried out each one, just show you the difference, what it looks like in a completed course. So the first example is using weekly folders. So this might be what people have seen or have used themselves. So this is from Joshua Barath's course, and I have the edit mode off, so I'm looking at it as a student would look. And he has over here weekly learning documents. So these are just with folders. So I'm going to just drop you into one of them. And as you, if you've been looking at the Ontario Learn checklist that we have to run your course through, you'll see it's very familiar. You have your introduction and objectives. He's got sort of a to-do list each week, so readings, PowerPoints, PDF. He's got some videos, his activities, his summary, and he has an assessment quiz in this week. So this is a folder, and if I turn the edit mode off, what you'll see is it looks pretty similar. What the students see is what we see. So as he's gone through and built this, he's built content, he's got items, he also has that quiz that he's made in here. He's gone in and embedded videos with YouTube, very similar to what the students see. And if I go back to the overall folder, build content, and he's created here a content folder. Now, a different way of doing it is right here. So this is Tony Cano. This is her development shell for her farm tech course, but she has used learning modules. So again, it looks very different. The icon's different, but the students still click inside. Now here's where the main difference is. So rather than seeing a list of items, as we saw in Josh, we have a table of contents which the students can hide here using these buttons. So they can move it to the bottom, and there they can just hide it all together. Okay, but standard, this is what it looks like. Now the students see where they're going, but they also have, instead of scrolling down, they have next buttons. So as a student, I move through. So she's linked in discussion boards. She's got some documents. She's got an embedded video and the summary. Now the difference with learning modules is when I turn the edit mode off, so I see it the way we see it, it looks more like the weekly folders. So it's being built this way. So one thing I have seen, sometimes teachers will say, in this area they'll say view the video below. Well, really for the students, it's the video that's next. So that's one thing to watch out for. But for a lot of our teachers, they do like this table of contents that gets built. And if they have a lot of materials, they would rather not have the students scrolling down to them the way we were in Josh's, looking through them sort of sequentially this way. It's really a matter of preference, but for this one, so it's the same way as Josh's was, where I build the content, so I can add items, which would be this is an example of an item. They can add in the test the same way Josh had, but it's building them in more of a next rather than a scroll. But if I go back to her weekly modules, and now you'll see all of her modules because Tony's using adaptive release, so some didn't show up to us as first when we were in student mode. And instead of going build content and to content folder, we now go to build content and learning module. So it's there's some differences there. You can talk to myself or Alyssa depending on which one you'd like to try out. The standard is usually the weekly folder or module folder, but we're seeing more and more people try the learning module, so it'd be good to hear some feedback from them on how the students are liking that. So, as the email I've sent out stated, we're starting our first 2-week review, and the main point of this is just give you some helpful feedback of how is the structure of your course? Is it easy to navigate? There's a few people that could be doing your review. It could be myself, Mark, who I think most of you have met now, or the Ontario Learn coordinators. And we go in as students, so we turn the edit mode off, and we go through those first 2 weeks based on that checklist that you had access to in the first week, or at our first milestones document meeting. For you to review. And again, it's just some helpful feedback. We were asked for this a few semesters ago when maybe a teacher has something that is confusing in all of their weekly modules or weekly folders, and they said, well, that would have been helpful to know in week 1 or 2 rather than making those changes to 14 weeks or to 6 modules or however you have your course set up. The report does not go back to anyone other than yourself. We are hoping to have the review feedback to you before reading week. And reading week, myself and Mark are here all reading week, so if you'd like to come in and discuss or discuss by phone, we can do that. Leading right into that, now is the time where a lot of people like to have one-on-one meetings. So I just wanted to point out that you have some different options. You have myself, of course, Alyssa, if you're looking at any Blackboard technical issues. Mark is a great person if you have a sounding board. He's been through this process. He feels your pain. And he's teaching 2 courses online right now. So great person to talk to, great on Blackboard. And Mark has had a few one-on-ones now with some great feedback, so he's someone to talk to as well. And then, of course, we've met Greg and Greg Rodrigo, and he's another person, anything with trying things outside of Blackboard. So if you want to incorporate some different technologies, he's a great person, or anything to do with active learning, myself or Greg or Mark or Alyssa, we can talk to you about that. So this week we've already had Monday's meeting. Just a note that they are only an hour this week due to some conflicts. So Wednesday's group is going to be from 1 until 2 rather than 12 until 2. And we're looking at applying information design concepts to your documents. So looking at the importance of white space and chunking and how people read on the web and how that's different from reading in a textbook or on traditional print based. So looking forward to next week. Next week we'll be back to 2 hours, so Monday from 3 to 5, Wednesdays from 12 until 2. And we're looking at what I like to call the meat and potatoes of most of our online courses, so that's online discussions. We're also going to look at journals and blogs and some common problems that teachers are facing with these communication and collaboration tools. So please bring your laptops. Alyssa is going to be doing half of the workshop, and myself and Mark are going to be doing the other half, and you will be building either in your own dev shells, or Alyssa has some dev shells that you can go into and build some of these discussions and journals and blogs if you need help with that. So when we look at this week's material online, so Bob has you doing some work inside your workbook, of course, and also he has really good links in here. This one is all about how people read on the web. So it's a good primer for our face-to-face, or if you can't make our face-to-face. And when you look at the recommended work, he talks about how avoiding being, how he says, long-winded. So you're looking for a style that's very brief, to the point, clear, because misconceptions can happen and misunderstandings can happen online more easily than when face-to-face, when you have that visual feedback from your students so quickly. And then under his tips and tricks, he talks about how you can present your readings to your students in different ways. So very interesting, just under 5 minutes video. I'd really recommend taking a look at that as well. Alright, that's all I have for this week. Again, please contact myself or Mark or Alyssa or Greg if you're struggling or you'd like to have some one-on-one time. We're more than welcome to that. And thank you, and I'll talk to you guys soon.